It's a bonus edition of the Book Club for Kids. Hi, I'm Kitty Feldy. Last week we discussed Not a Unicorn by Dana Middleton. But Dana didn't begin her writing career working on middle grade novels.
I started writing screenplays, and that's what I thought I was going to do. I had no idea I would ever be a writer of novels. And I like that, but where it clicked for me is I had a writing partner and we wrote a kids movie. And something just went off in my head. It was like, oh, I really like this. And from there, I thought, I got another idea, and I thought, well, why don't I, on my own, I thought, well, let me just try this. And it worked, and I was really happy with it. And then, on to the next one. But it did start with that. And it was writing a screenplay that made me think, oh, could I do this?
Screenplays are so tightly constructed. There are, rules which you can break, but there's a format you must stick with, even down to the point of beats and third acts, et cetera, et cetera. How different is that from writing middle grade?
I think it's different and the same. I think I write cinematically because of that. I write really visually. I want you to be on this journey, so by the time you're at the climax that it's going, and you can't put it down. That is at least my goal with writing, which happens a lot in a screenplay, hopefully. What's different about writing a book is you get to get into the character's head. You get to get into their feelings, which you can't do in the same way with a screenplay. And that's very satisfying, to be able to inhabit a person and explain how they feel.
Let's say, you get the call from Spielberg and he likes your Not a Unicorn, but he'd like you to write the screenplay. Would you enjoy that, or would you rather have somebody else do an adaptation?
Probably I'd like a first pass. And then let them go from there. I'd like to try. I think I could, but I also think there are pluses and minuses in the author of a book writing the screenplay, because you're very married to your book. And sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes it's not.
Our readers from Toluca Lake Elementary School, Walter Reed Middle School, and Louis Armstrong Middle School have a few questions of their own for Dana about writing.
Do you have any tips on how to, if you feel like a story is stuck somewhere, do you have any tips, how you can advance the story?
I used to write a lot and quit, because I would be like, what's going to happen next? I don't know what's going to happen next. If you've written, you know what that's like, right? So what I really learned over time was to not give up. Right, to maybe, if I really can't get an idea, go take a walk, just maybe write about something else that happens in the book for a while. Because I realized that the more that I just keep going and showing up every day, then eventually I'd get an idea. And sometimes it wasn't when I was writing, sometimes it'd be in the shower, right? Or just in 3 a.m, and I've got a pad by my bed. And that's how, if you just keep immersing yourself in it, the ideas will come.
Sometimes you're writing and then you realize, I need an adjective for this, and then you're like, I know there's a word for this in my brain, but I totally forgot somehow, and it's right there. I'm trying to remember and I can't quite get it. Do you think there's any sort of way around that other than Google?
Google's a good way around that. Sometimes you just Google, I'll have a word that's not quite right, and then I'll Google, give me a synonym for this word. I do, because sometimes it's like that. I need a different word. I can't use that word again. What am I going to use? So sometimes it's that. Sometimes it's just thinking, what else how could I say this in a way that paints a picture, right? Instead of just says, something very common or in a very kind of idiomatic way. You might want to just say, how could I say this so that it's more intriguing, or it paints that picture of what it feels like or what it looks like. But yeah, Google's okay.
I was going to ask on the topic of synonyms, adjectives, stuff like that. Do you have to feel like you have to keep the words a little basic so that some of the audience can understand it easier, or do you feel like I'm going to put in some complicated words and maybe they'll get it from context?
Yes, that. I think that kids are smart, and you can smell a mile away if somebody's writing down to you. don't you think? If somebody's writing like they're writing for a kid, instead of, no, I'm writing to you're my peer when I'm writing, right? I'm writing to somebody who I want to treat with respect. And if you can't get it, then hopefully you'll be inspired to either get it from context or to look it up.
My dad's girlfriend is writing a book right now, and I don't know if she has any problems, but she probably will have problems in the writing process. Do you have any tips?
My biggest tip is to keep going. Like whenever you're writing anything, we always want it to be perfect and want it to be great, and very seldom are first drafts great. So you just want to finish it, right? And then give it a few days or weeks or whatever, then go back to it and revise it. The great thing about writing is you can always make it better. So, so just finish. I say that to all of you about your creativity. Just get to the end, and then you can look at it, and then you can take it to the next step.
Thanks, Dana. We have interviews with dozens of other writers at our website, bookclubforkids.org. It's a great place to get writing tips, whether you are in middle school or are just a little bit older. And just a heads up about our other podcast, The Fina Mendoza Mysteries. Next week, it's the episode when the mysterious bird poops on the president's head in the middle of the State of the Union address. Don't miss it. Subscribe now to The Fina Mendoza Mysteries. I'm Kitty Feldy. Thanks so much for listening.